Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the North American Challenger League. We are here in our last week of the regular season. The time is nigh, and it's also now, and we do want to welcome you guys to the show. I am Reed Rapid Melton, and joining me once again is Daniel Egad Caruso. We're going to hop into our first game of the night between CompLexity Black taking on their opponents in Seven Wars Lyon Gaming, and Seven Wars, they've had some really strong performances and some struggles, but we'll look to see how they can do here against CompLexity Black.
And already the bands coming out. It's going to be that Pantheon and the Zac as well as the Ziggs. So it should be fun seeing Porky Zac actually be targeted away. I guess Westrice doesn't want to go against that fairly heavy top lane take. Meta pretty strong. And there's the Kha'Zix away from Broken Charge. So it should be pretty good to take that one away from him, as we saw a very strong performance from that at IEM actually this weekend.
Yeah, Jungle Kha'Zix is in a really cool place right now that maybe people didn't necessarily foresee. Usually it was just max your claws first, and then it changed to maxing your jump first. And now you actually max your ult first for the extended stealth duration and damage reduction. It's pretty cool. We'll have to see how that works out across the next few games that we have tonight. But with it banned out against CompLexity Black here today, also could have been banned out against either Westrice or Prolly for the mid lane matchup. They decided to switch that out. But it is going to be Westrice locking in the Elise. So you ban Kha'Zix, you give away Elise. I don't really think they got a whole lot there.
Broken Shard, if he gets a comfort pick, it should be pretty good for him. So we'll see if he can get those ganks off. Maybe there's some new strategy where they play Prolly's Elise mid or something crazy like that. But that's most likely going to be jungle. Still going to speculate what the side of Lyon want to pick up with everything that's left open to them. There's still a couple more seconds for the Elise. They could pick up the 80 carry, but there's a lock-in. And Lyon, what are they going to go for? Ian has had some really interesting showings. He likes to play Sivir quite a bit. The Ner'zhul, who's going to be coming back in here, he was currently away last week, was playing a lot of Thresh, having a good time with that one. And Morgana also could be one of the priority picks, but Porky already picking up the Renekton to hover over and the lock-in on Kate for Ian.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm surprised we don't see Morgana in like every single game. I don't know how to speak or talk about Morgana as a champion, just because she offers so much to the team. Back in the days when you used to see her as a mid laner, was one of NY Jackie's favorite champions to play. The Black Shield utility is just so good. You don't even need ability power for it. So it's really cool to see her coming back, but not in the way that most people may have anticipated. So Morgana as a support should be seeing that out of at least one of these guys, but with Thresh up and available for Bubba Dub, you just have to pick that. He's way too good at that champion.
All right, so pretty strong laner for Porky up top. We're going to see, in next upcoming patch 4.4, you're going to see a little bit of a hit to Renekton there. If it all goes through, obviously it has to be tested and such. But CompLexity, they're still going to be possibly the pickup for Robert Lee. Could see his Lucian, could see his Vayne, if anything. But, picking Vayne into a Caitlyn matchup is asking to be abused. And probably he's got some of those comfort picks still available. Ziggs did get banned away, but, could see Orianna, could see Nidalee, if anything. Westrice, he's not unknown to the matchup against Renekton, so could go for Shyvana or Mundo or maybe Ryze. I don't think Ryze is out of the option,
I think you have to go Thresh Kassadin here, but it's a lock-in on Sivir instead. I understand the Kassadin pick. I think that it's too early to stop banning Kassadin, even though he did get a few nerfs. Still ridiculously strong, and his strength has always been in his utility, which is still basically where it was, just his damage got toned down a little bit, and I don't think anybody relies on Kassadin for big early game damage. It's still going to be a very strong champion choice for Prolly in the mid lane, but the pick for Sivir instead of Thresh, does Bubba Dub just not like winning games now? Thresh is pretty good, but they obviously have something else in mind.
And Vel'Koz is actually enabled too for this week, so we could see teams start to potentially pick that one up, which would be pretty fun. But still untouched power for him to be discovered. And that's Sivir, I guess. I kind of think it's not too bad of a pick against Caitlyn. We see Sivers get harassed out because of the low range, but the shields are pretty good at blocking snipes, traps, and whatever else Caitlyn wants to throw at her, especially blocking a binding if they do go for that in the Morgana support or Thresh. It looks like Yasuo and Wukong are going to be the picks for LMQ, LMQ, oh my god, for Lyon in that huge wombo combo in the level 6 stage. Holy crap.
Yeah, Yasuo Wukong really going to come out for them, and it's not going
Wusuo.
Yeah, Wusuo. I like it. Or Yasuo. I don't know. I like Wusuo. That's a little bit better. Plus, it actually sounds more authentic. So, it's a cool combo, one that you see more often than not, but you usually see it paired with like a Lulu. Only problem is Lulu doesn't actually make it in here anymore because she's fairly strong, so we won't see that. But with a Hunter Tryndamere here, I don't think that Westeros really needs another carry in here. But hey, Complexity Black might just be running that sort of triple threat idea where there's so many high priority targets out there on the map that you really just have to take care of one of them. Leaves the other two, of course, to deal damage. And with the Morgana most likely going to get picked up here. I like the Morgana on a Cassidon, but I still feel Thresh should have a better lane phase, and especially with Thresh being such a high priority pick, maybe one of the reasons that Bubba Dub doesn't want to pick it is because he knows Morgana is so strong and such a big Thresh counter.
If Zyra gets locked in here from Lyon, it's actually not a bad pick into Morgana because you don't usually see them maxing that Black Shield first. But if he switches over to Annie, it's not a bad response either. The auto attack harass is huge. You get that stun. You can pop off the Black Shield pretty easily beforehand if you want to go for that kind of route. But they're flickering back and forth. I actually think Zyra would be really good for their team comp, especially against Cassidon, because if he riff walks in and then you see a Stranglethorn come out in response, or a Tibbers, either one of these supports actually can respond pretty well to the composition from Complexity.
Yeah, and I would have liked to see maybe the Annie for the inclusion in the AoE, but when you pick up Zyra, you still get that AoE knockup. It's not quite as, Tibbersing, but at the same time, it does give you a lot of counter engage as well. And while you kind of have that from Annie's Tibbers, usually if Annie gets like Rift walked in on, she just kind of dies, especially with the silence. So make it somewhat hard to throw that out, but you still get the area of effect true damage from Zyra when she dies. So kind of a morbid way to play the support. It's just like, well, half my power is when I die, so I should probably go probably not do that. We'll have to see what Ner'zhul does. Keep in mind, this is Ner'zhul's first week back with the team after a couple weeks off. Lyon had to use a couple of supports there for a while, but was able to get Ner'zhul back in action, and I'm really excited to see not only what Ner'zhul does now that he's back on the team, but just watching Thiak jungle is so cool. And especially with Wukong versus Elise, it's cool because when you dash in on Elise, you kill off 2 spiderlings too. So a little bit of an advantage there. You don't take 2 spiderling autos, but that's it's cool.
All right, so we're gonna head into the bit of the spectator delay. But before that, we're going to go into a quick commercial break and give a shout out to our sponsors. You can check them all out down below. There's Loot Crate, $13, 37 cents a month. You get a nice little crate delivered to your door, the latest Gamer Geek swag apparel and goodies. And they have a theme shirt, and this one was Attack on Titanfall, some anime and mech mixed into one. So check out Loot Crate, click the link. And Phoenix Peripherals, you can check them out at phoenixcollection.com. They have some of the best and greatest mice, keyboards, mousepads, and headsets on the market that you can find. And then obviously the wonderful music that you guys have heard. The Monster Cat provided that for us. And then Low Class.
Now, Low Class is at the end. I love how Dan took 3 of the sponsors instead of just 2. It's okay. I still love the sponsors too. But yeah, Law Class is the last one. And if you guys are looking to learn how to play League of Legends at a professionally competitive level, you can learn from people who already do that by heading over to lawclass.com or just clicking the link right down below the stream. There, for a very affordable rate, you can sign up for a Law Class with some of your favorite LCS and Challenger pros and learn how they play some of their favorite champions, learn the ins and outs. Like I said, all for a lot less than it would cost to get an individual one-on-one lesson. So make sure to check them out. Check out all of our sponsors and stick around because when we come back, it's Complexity Black taking on 7 Wars Lyon.
Sometimes I can hear you calling. Sometimes I can hear you calling, telling me that I'm a fool.
When I see you in the morning, will you still want to be true? I can't dream, I can't dream that we'll see a brighter day.
And I'm alive, more alive than I've ever been your way. And I'm alive, more alive than I've ever been your way.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the North American Challenger League, week number 5. We are here in our last week of the regular season with the CompLexity Black, your team in the blue, taking on their opponents who are having a rough time so far. It's going to be 7 Wars Lyon. They inherited the record from Super Team NA when they did join us midway through the season, and that was, I believe, a 1-9 record. And now continuing the struggles, but with some signs of strength in the jungle. Now some signs of strength in the bottom lane as well, as NACL has returned to their roster. See what they can do here against one of the best teams in NACL and CompLexity Black.
Well, they already have a big objective in taking down that castle in early game and trying to make his late game not relevant with their own Yasuo. They have the Wombo combo in the Wusuo, so that Wukong Cyclone as well as the Last Breath could synergize for some beautiful 3 to 4 man play if they can snag many members up. But I wonder what the side of Lyon is going to have to try to counter out, probably from even getting anywhere out of the laning phase.
Well, there's 2 things you have to do. 1, you have to shut down Cassidy early, but 2, you really have to play against him later on, and especially against this big Wombo combo team comp from 7 Wars Lyon. I'm really expecting to see more of a team fight focus at winning this game, more than just about, hey, we have to shut down Cassidy, because you have to counter out your opponent's strategies, but you also have to make sure that your own still work. And I really want to see this big Wusuo combination come out from the jungle, just because Thiak has been such a huge source of strength for Lyon in pretty much every single one of the games that they've won.
It looks like CompLexity are already starting with some aggression in the jungle there. They do steal the red buff away. Saiyan probably just dashing around and trading out silences. But Porky now going to spot out Robert X. Lee in the lane swap that CompLexity are going to initiate. So they want to shut down Porky. And without a Doran shield start, with that Doran's blade, he's very squishy. You're going to take a bunch of early damage there.
I just watched Cassidy. Oh, there's actually the flash forced out from Westrise. Thiak hunted him down in the jungle along with NACL. That's just because Ian doesn't have to worry about any bottom lane pressure, because he's just going to be alone in that lane for what is going to be pretty much the majority of the early laning phase. Now, at long last, Westrise finally going to head to lane, but only halfway to level 2 after attempting to jungle his way through that 2v1.
Alright, so they get the spot out. That red is going to be stolen away, and Thiak will take that one away while Broken Shard does his red. And both junglers with double buffs now. We do have Thiak looking to possibly make his presence known in this mid lane and go for a gank onto Prolly. As he does go in, it looks like he's going to get the slow. The armor gets shredded away as well with that Q, and that'll be the forced flash from Prolly, so we could see them the loop around from Thiak.
And you can just see Yasuo building up those dash charges from Sweeping Blade as he dashes through the minions, and is able to hit Prolly there with his Steel Tempest. So this is going to be a really, really rough time for Prolly. Thiak, don't. Okay, good. It's a little scared there. He's going to go for the dive. Prolly having a lot of pressure mid.
You can already see the effect of the reduced armor, but now they're looking to go in at the Prolly, taking a bunch of damage. They flash, dash, ignite, and auto attacks. And Seiya will find first blood. That ignite, not going to pick up the kill though, but they're going to get a bunch of good damage there and a really good dive.
Yeah, very well coordinated. That's just the problem. When you have 2 gap closers, you can use one to get in, start the tanking, and then the other one to, of course, escape after you trade it off. It's a really strong option, but with top lane turret going down, I don't think Porky actually ever made it into lane. He just jungled 2 camps, and sure, while he did hit almost level 2, it's still not quite there. Whereas Westrise is actually level 3, and still hasn't lost his turret, which is actually pretty impressive considering, oh, there's a binding on a Porky. Porky is dead through the turret of a huge binding landed by Bubba Dub.
Oh, no, Zul's gonna die now too, as Westrise goes in with the ignite, and we cannot find the Zyra plant passive. He flashes forward, looks at the Piltover, and does find the kill in the brush. Does look like they'll be able to take the tier 1, but up top, that tier 2 finding so much pressure. There's 3 members coming in from the side of Lyon, but there will be a smart back from CompLexity, unless they're actually halted here. Can we find Seiya stopping their back? No, he will not.
But Westrise picking up a kill in a 1v2 lane. That is not what you want to see. Is now Westrise, he's gone back to base. He has 9 times Porky's CS, and granted that's just 9 to 1, but he more importantly has levels and a chain vest, and those 2 things are really going to set him up for when ultimately we see this lane swap us back to 1v1 lanes. Renekton is just not going to really be a factor, and to be honest, when you shut down any side laner this hard, you're gonna have a rough time. And now
Oh.
dashing back into that mid lane. I don't think Thiak actually cares that Broken Charge there for the counter gank. Will probably escape with his life, and okay, just walks right into the Steel Tempest. Thiak's gonna try to turn this one right back around. Seiya, can you get the last sweeping blade in? No, the cocoon. It's gonna land, and he will escape alive.
Bump it up, gives the black shield over to Robert X. Lee, though, so looking for the chase possibly down here. Throws at the wind wall, cannot get the knockup. Robert X. Lee gonna get a bunch of harass out, while Broken Shard is gonna chase possibly on Ner'zhul. Does find the cocoon, gonna get the pool, and a bunch of damage on this one. Ner'zhul without flash is gonna be taken down, but who will get the kill? It will be Robert X. Lee looking for the passive plant damage. Won't find the kill. Nice juke away to dodge that one, and a really good chase down to find, what was that, 2 for none? Oh, 2 for 1, excuse me, probably died.
And I really want to see Westrise get an assist for that. Granted, it's been too long, but the flash cooldown was burned, just trying to avoid that death earlier on against Westrise. So it's like, I don't know what you're trying to accomplish by walking necessarily that way, but maybe just getting caught off guard by that roam from CompLexity Black really, really paying off. And you can see that just almost single-handedly, that one little ward up there, making a big difference in getting CompLexity Black their 4th kill of the game, but it's 4-3 at 6 minutes. This has been an incredibly crazy game, and Kassadin's about to hit level 6, and I think we all know how much more crazy that makes things.
You can see Ian just ignoring Probably too and just taking down that mid tier 1. That puts him at a 2-1 turrets as well, so doing a good job in pushing and taking their little advantages. But, you know, Westrise was left alone for a little while, and he did manage to farm up quite a bit, but he does have the 1 kill, 1 death. Seiya was responding to the wave from pushing and denying him from going any further, so sweeping up that lane and cleaning up the farm. Probably just pushing through, got the level 6, and actually he needs about another wave, so he's pretty far behind in those levels.
Yeah, levels are really going to come at a high cost, both for side laners and I feel like for Probably too. He's 0-2 right now, but as a Kassadin, you really never are defined by your early game. You want to make sure to take it late, and he's going to have to play a little bit more carefully to make sure he gets there without too many problems. The big strength here in this game is Seiya. Had an incredibly strong laning phase, offers some monster ganks from Thiak, and really Thiak not picking up a ton of kills to carry himself, but really setting up his lanes to do that.
Alright, and as the lanes push through, we could see a gank come in from Broken Shard. He's looking to come around from the side, but he would be spotted off by a ward, so gonna go through the lane. He's like, where do I go? Which way do I go? And he's trying to decide a route. There is Wukong coming in stealth now, gonna flash in, look for the knockup, cannot find it from either side. And that'll be Robert X. Lee getting away with that black shield, actually saving his life there.
And Black Shield just does such a huge counter to Wukong, because Wukong doesn't deal any magic. Okay, well, his decoy deals magic damage, but it's not going to be enough to ever break a Black Shield. And that really just allows you to say, hey, all right, one member of our team is going to be safe from that knockup, whether you spell shield it with Robert X. Lee's Sivir, or whether you Black Shield it on whoever else Thiak engages on. So when you go in for the knockup, you're going to have to make sure that you hit more than just one person, otherwise they're just going to get Black Shielded.
Alright, and Broken Shard was not able to find a steal on that dragon. That'll be the first one going over to Lyon Gaming, so finding themselves a nice little 1.4k gold lead at this 8.5 minute stage. Probably is going to snag up a blue buff here, and it looks like the rotation of Westrise at top and Porky up there as well means no more lane swapping going to go down, and we're going to see them solo farming for quite a while. Broken Shard, though, could make that rare buff that just spawned on Lyon's side, though, a little bit troubling, but he decides not to.
And now a big rotation coming out from 7 Wars Lyon. They're gonna take a red buff and then probably try to push down this first tier top lane turret. The big sort of mystery to me is why CompLexity Black didn't commit harder for their 2nd tier turret up there. I mean, granted, after they dove through, it was kind of the beginning of the end. But now Westrise, he's kind of on the wrong side of the law here.
It looks like they might be trying to find him, but, you know, he's going to drop back. He spotted him out with a ward. They look for the knocker from Seiya. He's going to get chased down here. The slow comes in as well as the silence, but he's taking a bunch of damage from those crits. Looking for the auto attack. Seiya going to look to turn around on this one. He gets the sweep and strike, blocks the binding with the wall. Going to dash through Bubba and actually find himself in a way to get out. While Thiak runs into Westrise, who drags his descent in. He looks for the Cyclone to pick up the kill, and Broken Shard but cannot find it. Westrice's damage is just on point, finds it. There's a cocoon to stop Porky as well in his tracks. Westrise with double buffs though, looking to possibly get out of here. Binding does not connect. Ner'zhul with a bunch of damage laying into Westrise, but he does not care. Probably goes over the wall, silencing and slowing, chasing this one out. But it looks like with 3 members from Lyon, they decide to back out and take their 1 free kill on Thiak.
Seiya has his completed static shiv. You can just see how much damage that dealt to Westrice, because it deals magic damage and physical damage, and that's it's a lot more effective than you actually realize, especially this early on in the game. It's 10 minutes. Yasuo already has half of his pretty much core build. Granted, the Infinity Edge is a little bit harder to come by, but it's a big spike of power there for the mid lane that was really already feeling that spike of power, just being 2-0 against Kassadin.
Oh boy, so it looks like Prolly's actually going to go for the Rod of Ages build too. Not going to be looking for Seekers early at a tier, so going to be looking to stack that AP early on with that. But, you know, if he does pick it up around 14 minutes, I think that'd actually be pretty worth it. But if he gets it later than that, then I see it being a bit of a bad buy. But we'll see as he farms up as much as possible. It's still actually fairly even in the CS for the mid lane, while up top, you know, Westwest has found a lot of solo farm, found 2 kills, and he's pretty far ahead of Porky at this point.
Yeah, Westride is having an incredible game, and really, especially off of the last couple of games, he's had a really like game-dictating performances. He's not only won his lane, but more than just winning his lane, he's been able to rotate around to help other people win their lanes. As a top laner, where your resources are so kind of like stretched, and you have kind of a really rough situation up there. Oh, Seiya. Not going to get hit by a cocoon or anything like that. It's just really impressive to see Westrise have such a presence out on the map as a Shyvana, which you usually just think of as, you know, a big split push duelist, having even more presence out on the map. But now we're starting to see Prolly kind of come into his own. He's level 8, almost towards that level 9, and the pushing continuing up here in the mid lane. CompLexity Black are actually forcing almost everyone here, with the exception of Porky from 7 Wars Lyon, to come for the defense.
Both junglers know where each other are, and it's going to be actually Broken Shard running in, getting cycloned, and there's the last burst on top of it, but he does get the repel, the ignite from Seiya. Gonna put him on a killing spree and find that kill. They're looking for more, though, possibly. Probably did riff walk in, gonna get sliced on. He just riff walk right back on out. Stranglethorn comes in, looking for a knockup, cannot find it. Nerzul kind of misplacing that one. Drops a ward, finds a pink ward. We'll take that one out, and it looks like CompLexity may not be done, even though it's a 4v5. Still looking for some more poke here, but goes in with the riff walk, gets the slow onto Thiak, but he's going to try to back on out of here. If they find a Binding, they'll pick up the kill. Binding comes out, wind wall to stop it again. Seiya on point, looking for crits, though. Probably can't flash over the wall. Ace in the hole from Ian will find that kill. Looking for a root on the west slice. He's got the Dragon's Descent, gets out, but gets ignited and stunned. Looks like that'll be the 2 for none in favor of Lyon after a bit of an aggressive invade on their side of the jungle.
And you know, it would have been just that one kill, which honestly you could see CompLexity Black were not too phased by, but probably missing his flash there. And on Kassadin, like, A, you should never put yourself in a position where you need flash, and then B, if you do have it, I don't know, I feel like hitting flashes on Kassadin should be something you're really good at, just because you have to use Rift Walk so often. So CompLexity Black having a little bit of a blooper there in the mid lane, even though Chuper is no longer on their team. It's nice to see that 7 Wars Lyon have a huge spike in power here in the mid game, picking up a 3rd kill on Seiya, and that sets him up without enough gold to pick up a VF sword, but definitely well on his way.
He could pick up a pickaxe if anything, or maybe an Avarice cloak, the critic cloak if he wants. Look, there's the pickaxe, so gonna make his way towards that Infinity's Edge, and just got the extra boost of damage. And the mid game pretty much is where Lyon will spike, and if they can keep on pressuring with those AoE ultimates and the synergy that their team has, I'm pretty sure CompLexity are gonna have a really rough time getting the Kassadin rolling. But you know, Robert Ixley, he's 2-0 at this point, has his BT, could put everybody on his back, as well as Westrice too, in that dragon form.
Bottom lane, Robert's got a huge wave to CS, and he's actually not aggressively CSing it. He's just kind of last sitting there. All right, now he's starting to push it out, because he does need to rotate mid. And there's actually going to be a nice wave push to, I think, no, this is actually just going to straight up reset the waves. So that's going to be one nice lane that the CompLexity Black won't have to come back to immediately, because now it's actually going to slow push in towards the turret and build up a nice wave to come back to after Dragon, of course. In 5 seconds, and it does look like Lyon are poised to take down Dragon number 2.
All right, they got pink wards all over the place. Gonna look to make sure that nobody comes in and steals it. But you never know. Broken Shard is kind of hanging around. There is a Morgana over the wall, but with no wards coming in, it looks like that'll be the 2nd dragon of the game over to Lyon. So some really good dragon control from them, as well as some nice premeditated pressure there with the pink wards. So looking to go into Broken Shard, get the knockup, get the last breath, and it will be Thiak picking up the kill with that red buff and the Spirit of the Yellow Dot in the repel.
Yeah, so much damage over time, and it's all true damage, so it's not really something you can really do a whole lot with. And especially with picks like that onto Broken Shard, no Black Shield to help him out. and that's the second time in a row that that's happened. Now, granted, it's not maximum effectiveness for Seven Wars Lyon because they are just using their big AoE team fight combo on one person, but hey, a kill's a kill, and they got a dragon right before that, so limiting this jungle pressure, making sure that there's a jungle advantage for Thiak. You can see he's already one level up, which means his smite's going to be better. But it's also just... I feel like Seven Wars Lyon are really dictating the pace of this game, preventing CompLexity from really, pulling out their inner Dr. Mundos and going where they please.
They could also be pulling out the hunts, and trying to chase people down with that, and everybody just getting speed boosted up. It looks like they're trying to push down and make sure the waves aren't going down mid. It's actually even in turrets. It's only that 1,000 gold with this dragon's keeping him ahead. For Lyon, they do find the pink core, but probably finds an instant hold with the face, so he'll just riff walked away and be looking okay. He's gonna go farm down bot. That wave, like you said, is gonna start pushing, and he'll pick up a nice juicy bunch of gold.
And that's actually something really cool that you can do. A lot of people don't realize that. I think Fnatic actually called the minion wave the sixth man, because if you start a slow push going in one of the side lanes and then you push the other one, you can get a huge wave of minions that potentially can just do your work for you and even take down turrets or inhibitors or crazy stuff like that. So definitely something to watch out for. Nice wind wall to stop another binding. This is such a huge counter comp from Seven Wars Lyon. You have the wind walls to stop the Morgana engage. You have a lot of pressure against Cassidy. You can see the 3-0 versus 0-3 working out. And then you also have the counters coming out from CompLexity Blacks. They have Sivir and Morgana to try to stop Thiak from being that big engage, and even the knockup from Zyra as well going to be blocked out there by Black Shield and Spell Shield. So I like how both teams are really trying to do their best versus the other, but it does look like it's working out slightly better here for Seven Wars Lyon.
Oh, Porky's gonna get chased away. He's actually 2 levels behind Westrice at this point, so gonna be having a rough time.
And 50 CS.
Yeah, so he's got 76 CS. Oh, he's down 50 CS. Yeah, you're right. So gonna be very rough for him to deal with this one. If he gets dove out there with Dragon's Descent and Ignite, I think actually Westrice could just solo him out and let the Sunfire and Ignite do the work with the burnout. But there were some pinks coming out down bot as I thought they ran into somebody, but decided not to and backed off. So Westrice gonna keep taking golems and keep denying Porky so much.
Porky right now is, I guess, kind of the weak link. And while we're not going to say goodbye to him right now, it's definitely something to work on. And that means that Lyon are really going to be fighting more 4v4s, or at least trying to, rather than fighting 5v5s. And that's something that they're actually totally okay with, because Porky can at least split evenly against Westrice in that top lane, using his turret, maybe taking a little bit of pain there. But the 4v4 is a fight that CompLexity Black just can't win.
If 2 or more of them in a 4v4 get knocked up, that's pretty much just going to be a double Yasuo ultimate into a bunch of damage they do not want to take from the side of CompLexity. It's also a Brutalizer picked up by Thiak and gets caught out there by Cocoon. Some good poke comes in from Robert, though. They're like, all right, Robert, get back out. They give him the Black Shield, make sure he runs away and doesn't get initiated on. So they look for some good, decent poke, but they cannot really fight, like you said. And this is the mid-game power spike that CompLexity needs to get through if they want to have a chance at winning this game.
Now, Probably is going to attempt to recall down there in the bottom brush. Probably will make it back out to base. But the big deal is that CompLexity Black are just kind of... I feel like they're not even trying to fight right now. They're just saying, hey, look, we've got a Cassidy who just now picked up his Rod of Ages, has Sorcerer's Shoes. So no Mercury treads like you'd see on a lot of Cassidans, just to make sure they don't get locked down through their Rift Walk. And now, coming out of base, a very, very strong Cassidy. This is his power spike. And it's going to get stronger, of course, as that Rod of Ages stacks up, but you're kind of fighting against inevitability as Seiya draws even nearer to his Infinity Edge.
Yes, that is the ticking time bomb of Yasuo. When he gets that Infinity's Edge, that damage is pretty much doubled. So many crits are going to be destroying everybody, and little armor on everybody besides Westrice on the side of CompLexity. And when he does start picking up the Last Whisper as possibly his third item, it'll be so dangerous for CompLexity's side. Porky trying to contest this golem away from Westrice. He's like, stop stealing these from me, I need to get some kind of farm. They're just trading back the auto attacks, and they let it reset. No, okay, just waiting to see who gets it. Oh, and it will be Westrice with a steal, as well as a bunch of damage thrown at the Porky, and backing on out.
Nice burst there from Westrice. Yeah, you really can't contest new Treeps against the Shyvana. The Flame Breath into Twin Bite. It's just way too much burst damage out there, especially on high HP targets like the Big Golem. I think the Big Golem highest HP non-buff monster in the jungle. So it's pretty rough to try to stop Westrise right now, especially for Porky, as he is so far behind, but still looking for fights in the mid lane. I feel like Seven Wars Lyon, they have more confidence in their Yasuo getting stronger than CompLexity Black have in Prolly, and so Seven Wars, they're just waiting this game out and going for objectives.
And letting Westrise do his thing, build up the items. When he gets the Blade of the Rune King, those dives out of Porky are just going to be non-stop. And looks like with Dragon coming up in 5 seconds, they're going to try to bait this out. Binding comes through, does connect on Aseo though. A bunch of damage was thrown out there. Actually, a slow was thrown out there on the Prolly, but the Spiderling will hit the clone. He'll back out. And actually, they're pretty scared from Lyon. They are 5v4, so they do not want to get outmanned in that fight. Trap does connect on Westrise. Looks like they're trying to push down tier 1.
This is actually a potentially good engage as Robert is trying to take down this turret. Wave will get cleared out once again. A lot of damage put down onto Robert. Well, not a lot, but something significant. There is the knockup right onto Robert X. Lee dashing in. Saya still has to re-engage. Broken Shard still very, very low. And while the dash in from Westrise makes him a very, very strong target, look at Ner'zhul. He's going to get dropped down. He's got some true damage in there, but Saya's dead. And with Porky being forced to ult there, it's going to be a disengage here from Lyon after somewhat... I don't know, what happened in that fight? What really turned that in favor of CompLexity Black, Dan?
Well, they all disengaged perfectly from the Stranglethorn, and Prolly was just let free to do what he wanted. The ultimate onto Robert X. Lee didn't have much follow-up besides, just Saya going in and then getting blown up on top of that. So the Black Shield keeping Robert X. Lee alive when he was down, so he didn't get CC'd any further. And Broken Shard actually blocked the snipe, too, from the ace in the hole from Ian on Caitlyn there, so... Really good job peeling away from Robert X. Lee and then just letting Westrise go ham in the back line with that Dragon's Descent.
Probably gonna die to this red buff, so he can't actually steal that away, but he will be able to hand it over. A little bit more damage there to Robert X. Lee. He's got more than enough damage to take it down. So red buff steal, mid lane turret, and finally signs of life starting to come out here from CompLexity Black, and probably still... And Prolly is playing a dangerous game here up against the minions. He's fighting them with just under 200 hit points, and will finally Rift walk away using the last of his mana, head back to base. And what does he pick up now? Does he still go for the very late tier, or just head on to like a Zonya's Hourglass?
Feel like he's gonna pick up Rod. If he picks up Nearly Large Rod, just goes for the burst damage, why not? But there it is. Okay, so we're gonna look for his Deathcap or Zonya's next, either one, and not go for the almost pure survivability, Saris Embrace with Zanya's Rush. So, gonna be looking for the heavy hitting Kassadin builds.
Yeah, it's gonna be more of a Glassadin build, as he is kind of more of a fan of the Deathcap Kassadin, whereas you normally see a lot of like mana stacking, and that takes a lot of time, and going just for Rod of Ages to make himself a little bit tankier, and stack that up for free over time. No tier though, so his mana regen overall will be a little bit lower.
Alright, so he extended fights though for that build is really rough because he said the mana regen really going to be lacking. And now we see Westrise actually going to be able to do a bunch of damage to Theak. I think he knows his flash is down, but does not want it all in. Has to play the Rune King. If anything, sees Porky and decides to back out. Plays it smart, plays it cool. A lot of aggressive wards / invading going in on the right side of Lyon's jungle, while Robert X. Lee just pushes out the wave, looking to take down that turret very quickly. Ner'zhul gets chunked by that, and Broken Shard's behind, gonna look for a dive. A bunch of damage comes in. There's a Kassadin from the side. Broken Shard picks up the kill. Ner'zhul dies in the Stranglethorn, goes into that little plant passive form, and that'll be 2 kills and a tier 2 over to CompLexity Black.
And while that may be devastating, the Infinity Edge completed by Saya may just be the power spike that Seven Wars Lyon need to turn this game around. We've got the Dragon's Descent from Westrise being used out there just to make sure he gets that steal on the blue buff, but Broken Shard's looking for a steal on a slightly different buff. The only problem is it was scouted out there by a ward, and with Yasuo in the area, it's going to be up to Saya and possibly Theak to get in there. Theak could just straight up die to Prolly if he Rift walks in.
Yeah, so not going to risk it, and this will be a free Baron over to CompLexity Black. I was wondering if, Saya was going to try to get a proc off his Q twice, and then just throw the Tornado into the pit and try to get a knock-up and ult in, but decides not to. That'll be Baron, and that'll be now a 6,700 gold lead for CompLexity Black.
And off of just 2 picks top lane, disengaging straight for that Baron. Great shot calling from CompLexity Black, and really a nice job by Westrise in the bottom lane as well to draw so much pressure towards him. Say, hey, you want to try to keep your blue buff and then leave the purple buff to us. And It will go over to CompLexity Black, and now it probably had a rough early game. I think it's going to be shored up just a little bit. Keep in mind he's also about 20 CS ahead of Seiya. You never want to have Cassidy with a CS advantage.
You don't. Even if he's 0-3, it just doesn't matter. Cassidon's pressure is always there and always relevant. It's just such a good champion, you know. Just riff walks, silences, slows, and an empowered auto attack. So gonna go back to base. How much does he have? He currently has 2K. So it will be Zanya's or death cap. We will find out when he goes back. Zanya's. All right. So looking for a little bit more survivability.
Yeah, and I actually really like the Zanyas because this is a primarily attack damage based team. You've got Renekton, you have Wukong, and while Wukong does shred a lot of armor with his soon-to-be Black Cleaver and, of course, the Crushing Blow, it's pure physical damage outside of Ner'zhul here from Seven Wars Lyon. So sooner or later, that armor is going to come in there, and that is not going to be something they're well-equipped to deal with.
Whoa, looks like they're going to go into Broken Shard. A bunch of damage comes in and forces out the Repel, but the Yak going to get blown up by Robert Exley. Now Broken Shard going to chase down Seiya. Those little spidering frenzies coming out and picking up a kill there. That's a 2 for none, and that'll be a tier 2 going down. Robert Exley just face-taking it, not caring. Bubba takes the last hit, and it looks like this could be an inhibitor while Westrice, just takes down the tier 2 nonchalantly down bot. There's a dash forward from Probably, finds the silence. A Flash Cocoon comes in but does not find a mark, and that is going to be the inhibitor turret, and the inhibitor going down unless Porky can find something to come out. But there it is, and the turret falls.
Turret and probably the inhibitor going to go down here, and actually maybe a dive through the turret on Ner'zhul. Man, the strong gets stronger. Another kill going over to Westrice, and we talked about Westrice a lot this game. Really haven't highlighted their bottom lane for CompLexity Black. Just waiting outside the base. So scary. I'm gonna hit the vision button to make sure that Robert Exley is visible there. But even still, they're gonna find Seiya. You could see Robert waiting right outside the base. Hit the vision control. I could see him. So could Lyon, but now they'll never do it twice. Okay, now they're gonna disengage and take another push down the bottom lane.
And Cassidy found his first kill of the game too with that. So if for being a support,
that's how you know the
Cassidy.
game's over.
Oh boy. So the first kill is the determining factor, especially at 27 minutes. And it looks like they're not going to give it the push here. Binding connects out at the X, and damage comes out from Robert, but focusing on the turret for the most part. They want to get this objective, and they want to get the second inhibitor, and then look to possibly go top and make it 3.
Push will intensify here in the bottom lane as Minion Wave does come to take up that turret. And the other thing that Minion Waves do is they reduce the turret armor by like 150 just because it keeps it from getting backdoored. Now Ace in the hole, it's on a Probably, but he has that on his Hourglass, so he doesn't actually care all that much. And with that inhibitor number 2 going down, and CompLexity Black finally will disengage. I feel like they should actually go CompLexity back to base and pick themselves up some extra items because they're all sitting on at least 2,000 gold.
Oh please, here comes the hunt. They're looking for Seiya now. They riff walk in, he blocks the silence, but he can still get slowed up there. Does not fight a 5-man knockup, and that'll be Robert Exley going godlike. It looks like CompLexity not going to be going completely home. Ian going to be ignited and forcing the barrier away. Cocoon goes in on the Porky. There's a Ner'zhul ultimate and a McHale's to keep him alive while Probably snipes off Ian in the back line. Has his Zion's Hourglass to keep him safe. Westrice knows that's a clone. He's going to go into the back, and that'll be Robert Exley going legendary. And instead of going back, they're going to end the game and maybe pick up a kill on Ner'zhul, but that is a really strong showing from CompLexity being down in the early game.
I really didn't expect Seiya to walk out of the base and dive headlong into 5 people. I feel like that's a good way to end it, maybe for CompLexity Black, because now they will take down the Nexus and go 17-6 in their victory, 10-2 in turrets as well over Lyon, or Seven Wars Lyon. So struggle continues for Seven Wars Lyon, while CompLexity Black climb even higher in the standings. And keep in mind, CompLexity Black going into today's game, we're actually, I think they were tied for first. They're actually tied for first coming into this. So it's going to be a struggle that will continue for Seven Wars. And this is their last week to make that big push for the playoffs. Not looking good so far, but looking great for CompLexity Black.
CompLexity Black are going to move up to 12-5 with that one. Still in first is LMQ with 13-4, so they're tied for second with Team 8, who's 12-5, who we'll be seeing later on. But that's going to be it. We're going to do a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have Game 2 with me and Malphus casting that one, and it's going to be... There we go. Team 8 taking on VVV, so we'll see you soon when the ads are done.